Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
We are very delighted, as always, to be here. And of course, I am not alone, for so many are coming in at this time as the veil is so thin that we have an open invitation and a door into the energetic field of your magnificent and beautiful planet. And we are creating and putting in place a lot to celebrate, because there is a great celebration occurring in the cosmos as so many of you are moving into higher octaves and frequencies, as you are passing through this portal of the equinox that is arising in your linear calendar tomorrow. And so we are waiting with open arms and with loving hearts from where it is that we are to attune to all of you and to welcome you into our energetic field and frequency as you are merging into the new earth and moving through this very potent and powerful transition. And so, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello.
Hello, Raphael. So, we're so excited for the spring equinox coming up. And, you know, you're talking about this transformation that's going to happen. Could you tell us a little bit about what we might expect to transform in ourselves or our life experience here on Earth?
It is a shift in an energy in which you're going to start to see subtly and slowly, but it will build on itself, an acceleration of creation through your words, your thoughts, your energies, your actions, and your outside experience will start to shimmer in a way, as if you are moving from a particular energy or vibration into something else. And when you perceive and look at things, they will have a nuance or a shift, and sometimes even a shimmering quality to them, and an awareness. And you will also begin to notice those around you as you connect to them and talk to them and spend time with them, that they are different too. There will be something that will not be able to fully place your hand on or fully understand on an intellectual level, but on an energetic level, there will be a change, and it will be palpable and you will know it. It is our greatest desire and hope that for so many of you, it will be a very beautiful and joyful and engaging frequency that will support you to move into higher vibrations where you are amplifying more joy and more love, more unity and more oneness. But it will deeply be an acceleration process. So you guys all thought things were moving fast already and that things were a bit accelerated. It is going to double. And as it does so, it is going to compress time. And time itself will start to alter and shift for you. And in that process, it will be a very strong invitation and desire that you will feel inside to disengage from much that has been occurring and connected in the mind, and to really deeply drop into a new state of presence inside the heart center, in your connections and interactions with each other, your environment, and the world at hand. And you will begin to notice a difference even when you look at your hands or when you're eating. Everything is going to sort of shift in your reality just slightly. You're going to feel a tingling, a difference, and a stronger connection with other dimensions and our energies. For these stargates that are open give us greater access to all of you. Many of you might call this the thinning of the veil. And so, those who have passed and are in other dimensions or operating in different realities, there is more of a bleeding through. It's a converging of energies, a converging of timelines. You're coming into a 0 point frequency. And the only way to fully energetically navigate it without blowing out your circuits, in a sense, is to be surrendering to it, to be willing to engage and to connect with it. But if you grasp onto the familiar in the way that it has been, or you deeply resist the changes that will be profound in the collective experience and in your own experience, wanting to hang on to what has been, you will have a very difficult time. And so it is very helpful for all of you to let go, to surrender, to trust, to relax, to lighten up, to have some fun, to watch, and to engage in the powerful energies that are coming online in your being and in your light body so that you can engage with them and play with them. It's like you're going to learn things all over again in many regards. And there will be innocence, purity, delight, excitement, as if many tools and ways of being that you were not fully engaged in will start to be possible for you. And there will be a lot of excitement for it. And so we are preparing a graduation process or party, in a sense, as you come through during the equinox, during the 0 point energy of these two frequencies. We will be waiting with open arms to engage, to celebrate, and to connect with all of you.
Thank you, Raphael. And so I talked to a lot of people, especially in this community, who are aware of this ascension process, and it seems pretty split with a good portion of them having the hardest time of their life where they're really struggling, and the other portion just in absolute bliss. And from what I've heard you say, the the way that you are right now in that has to do with your resistance to letting go of the familiar. Is that right? And if we are able to let go, is that all we need to do to graduate, or can we still graduate without fully letting go?
Oh, well, of course, in your experience, it is a process. But the more you are able to let go, the more you're able to release your fear, the more you're able to let go of attachments to how it should be, the more you're able to breathe and just relax into what is occurring and what is taking place, the more you're able to move into observation and perceive it from a larger perspective, the more you're able to attune to the essence of your being and your soul and your I am presence, the more you're able to move into gratitude and recognizing it as a gift, the quicker you're going to accelerate into a state of observation, into a state of awareness. And once you've moved into that state, then you begin to embody the master that you are. And as you embody the master that you are, you begin to attune to energies and harmonic waves that are coming in. And you begin to align with what we call the flow state. And when you align with the flow state, you move into that state that many of you speak of as bliss, or a sense of oneness, synchronicity, beautiful, magical moments. And those moments may just be a sliver. They may just pierce into your reality for just a moment and you notice them. But the more you notice them, the more you're grateful for them, the more you focus on them, the wider they get, the more they begin to amplify. And the aperture keeps opening and opening and opening in your human experience, in which larger percentages of your day and your experience and your connections are in that state and within that frequency. Does that mean that you're not going to dip down into the third dimension, deep into the density of some grief or pain or upheaval or transformation or dark night of the soul? Of course, you're going to keep dipping, but then you're going to be able to have the tools and the energy and the understanding from the information in which you have entered into other realms before, to begin to quickly move yourself, to spiral, in a sense, upward out of those energies, where you're not just caught for long periods of time in those denser, heavier, lower, in a sense, frequencies. And so it is an affirming of that, and a recognition that in that you can just be in it and breathe in it, bring compassion to it, love it, understand it, know it is there, and then it's going to move faster and faster and faster and faster. Everything will be amplified, everything will be accelerated. And so this is a time to bring in all the tools, all the information, all the teachings for so many years. This is the moment to to apply them to your daily activities, to the words that you speak, the thoughts that you have, the actions that you take, and the openness within your heart to align with the energies necessary at this time to pass through these portals.
Thank you, Raphael. And I resonate with this so much. And so, what I hear you saying is, in short, is that now that we've entered this process, we now energetically will have all the tools that we need to let go and to come into the present, to raise our frequency into a state of flow state, bliss, and synchronicity. Yet we still will dip down. But with that dipping down, we will have the tools we need to come back up and ultimately bring what we gain from the dip up with us into a higher frequency. Now, something that I know people are very curious about and what causes a dip for a lot of people, or what a lot of people are in resistance to letting go of, are global politics. And now, an interesting point that has been brought into my awareness is that, of course, we don't necessarily want to get caught in something that we can't control. But what level do we balance of we want to be aware so that we're not bypassing what is going on in the world while simultaneously doing what we can without getting completely stuck?
Well, we're not so much for politics, but what we can tell you is that there's a lot of energy bombarding you from political systems to distract you, to create shock, to create a sensation of awe, to put you into a state of fear. And when you are in a state of fear, it is very difficult for you to fully access your divine self and your gifts and to propel yourself into that flow state because you are hanging on to wanting whatever is being projected at you to be different than it is. Now, many speak of the idea of disengaging fully and completely, unplugging from these distractions, from these energies that are can be shocking and disturbing. And you are asking, is that a bypass? There's going to be a great revolution in many of your lands where the people are going to rise up and express their divinity, express their truth, and create and do things that force the outside exterior political world and realms to come to succumb to their influence and to eventually crumble in a sense and to bring them to their knees. And so there's no worry here about bypassing because you are intricately woven and connected to everything in your human experience, in your internal and external reality. And so, yes, some will fully engage in what is going on and others will not. But eventually, there will be a merging of the minds in the creation of something that's going to be birthed. And that birthing process is one in which is taking place right now. But we perceive and see it from our perspective of where we are that right now you are in a state of gestation. And in that state of gestation, some are going to be more conscious and aware of what is occurring, and others not so much because they're going to be working on other dimensional levels. But in this process, there will be a moment where the collective as a whole will take this quantum leap and we do not necessarily like to put things with dates or linear time, but from our perspective, as you're passing through this equinox, and we will be downloading these codes and you will be receiving them tomorrow and activating your light body, you're going to be absorbing them through your molecular structure within your DNA, and there will be a great change and shift that will be very palpable, very understandable, very clear, very noticeable as you come to the end of this year and you approach what you call the winter solstice. Now, this decision that one makes about engaging in these political upheavals or not it will be very difficult to escape them because they will get louder and louder. Some will fully place their attention on them, and that is their choice. And in doing that, they may then be the ones that are the instigators, the ones that start to create change, begin to create revolutions, ideas, thoughts, and will lead others who perhaps to date were not so much focusing or putting their energy or intention there, but were elevating their vibration, working on their internal processes, arising to a different state of being. And that energy will be just as equally potent and powerful. But both of these energies will ultimately unify and propel great change. And so some of you will feel called to engage, and some of you will feel called to disengage. Is there a right or a wrong answer to that? We can say that if what you are engaging in is perpetuating fear inside of you and creating a lot of distraction from your own process of evolution and growth, then we encourage you to disengage. If engaging is empowering you and bringing you into a state of service in which you are wanting to shift or make changes in a very positive direction for the greater good and the collective as a whole, then by all means engage. There is no absolute in your question you are asking.
Hmm. And so the discerning question I see here is, how do we know if our avoidance is bypassing and avoiding, or if it is protecting our energy and growing? How do we discern the difference between those two things?
When you are protecting your energy, you're not necessarily bypassing. Bypassing is different. That is when you have an idea that you are already at a certain frequency, but you actually are not, that you are distracting and you are condemning something in another. But when you are fully engaged in the evolution of your own emotional process and the healing of your traumas and wounds, and you are focused on elevating your frequency by attuning to nature and coming into forgiveness and gratitude and love and joy, that can never be considered bypassing. And so it is important to define what that means. And so there will be those who will disengage, who will unplug from the drama. And that is perhaps part of what they are needing to do fully at this time in order to elevate their vibration, to be assistance at a time in which many will come together for great change. It doesn't mean that they necessarily have had to gather all the information along the way, because there will be plenty of others who will be doing that.
So what I'm understanding is that the difference is bypassing is being in denial of what is, and protecting your energy and just simply cutting off is accepting that that is a reality and working on raising your vibration because that's what you can control, versus denying that that exists,
Oh, yes. It is
right?
very important to be conscious and aware of what is occurring. But it not necessarily for every and all people. It is also very deeply important to be aware of what is occurring in your reality and in your body and with your family and with your community, and then begin to expand out into that and to hold as much light as you can in those arenas, because that then ripples out into and through the global network of energy fields. But it is not even possible for any one human to be able to solve, to figure out, to have answers for all of the upheavals and explosions and changes that are occurring on a global level, nor is that what you are meant to or have ever been meant to do.
And so one of the best ways that we can contribute, one of many, is to focus on our micro world and heal the themes in that, which will have a greater impact on the macro themes.
Yes, of course. And simultaneously holding compassion, donating money, making your voice clear, connecting, loving, or potentially organizing, making shifts if that is something in which you have the bandwidth at this time to do. There is no condemning one way or another.
Amazing. Thank you, Raphael. All right, so now we're gonna start taking questions. So Vicky, go ahead. Let me make sure that you can unmute yourself. You can, so, or no, you can't. Now try.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, so my question is about chemtrails. In the city where I live, and I see them all over the world. There's these lines in the sky, and then they block the sun, and we get very little sunshine because of that. And it just gets cloudy, and the energy gets denser. So my question is, what can we do as a collective, or even as individuals, to have them stop doing chemtrails and polluting our air?
And this is one of many things that will be revealed or that many will come into an understanding about that perhaps have been in denial of it. For part of what is happening as you are moving through this pivotal transformation is that there is what we call a great revealing, where an unmasking of much agendas and energies that have been in place to create havoc and, in a sense, to dumb down the immune system, to create disease, and to distract those from coming online, have been implemented. And so, as you're going through this, many will start to have greater sensitivity, greater understanding, greater awareness, and begin to question and to notice things in a new way. And this is part of this, what we might call revolutionary energy, as you step into the vibration of Aquarius that will be taking place, and as you transcend and move through this pivotal time and portal of the equinox. And on the other side of this, you will notice that there will be many who will be bringing this to the surface, and those perhaps that weren't paying attention to it or that seem ridiculous will start to wonder or start to notice, because the sensitivities to these things is going to strengthen and to amplify. And through the sensitivity, a conscious awareness will come more online. And through conscious awareness, the need for shift and change will take place. And it will happen in numbers when more and more will demand and come together in ways to create change. And those who are inside certain, you might call, departments or places where certain things are done, who are also waking up and are also moving into a greater state of love. And through that, they will, what you would call, blow the whistle on certain things or begin to expose things. There will be a lot of exposure to things that perhaps were hidden or beneath the surface for a very, very long period of time. And in the exposing of it, the awareness will be stronger. And in the strengthening of the awareness, change will take place. And so, what can you do personally in this moment is to not focus on it, to protect your energy field, but also if you're wanting to bring more awareness to it and to implement specific things to make sure that the body is capable of moving through a detoxification process, not simply from this specific thing you are speaking of, but the bombardment of many chemicals and many things that are in your food and your water and your systems that are not unique to where you are, but all around the globe. And the necessity to come into balance within the body and to bring in whatever is needed for detoxification and cleansing in the human cells, so that these energies can begin to be healed and released within your physicality and form.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Vicky. Thank you, Raphael. So if you want to ask your question, just raise your hand on Zoom. We're gonna call on people who haven't asked a question recently. So I'm gonna go with Anna. Anna, are you there?
Hi, Raphael. I want to ask if
Hello.
are there any specific foods that we can eat to support at a cellular level our bodies with all these energetic changes that are occurring and that we are sometimes struggling to keep up with.
Perhaps we were missing the beginning of your question. What is it?
I was saying that if there are any specific foods that will help us support our physical body on a cellular level with all this energy coming in and all the codes that we are receiving.
It is that one of the greatest things that you can do is create a stronger bond to your relationship with the earth. For her capacity to absorb energies within the physical form that perhaps are perceived or labeled as toxic is extraordinary. And it is that simply by going outside with your feet bare and connecting with her and rooting down, you can lay there and begin to support the opening of a space in which you can allow all energies in the body to fall into her, which she will carry them, receive them, transform them, and transmute them for you. Simultaneously, she will give to you any and all things that your body is needing at any time and grow it for you wherever it is that you are. If you walk barefoot on her, she will respond to you as you begin to connect and communicate with her. And she will pick up through the chemistry of your feet whatever is needed for your body, and it will start to grow around you. As you are moving through these shifts and receiving so many codes, you are going to start to become more connected and aware to the foods, to the plants that are here to support you. And so every body is unique and has its own energetic form and blueprint. And what might be good for you to detoxify may not be good for another, or what might nourish you may not be as nourishing for someone else. And so amplifying your connection and communication with the network of what is brought into your body by communicating with it prior to and being fully conscious of it, it will tell you this is supportive, this is not supportive, this will heal this will heal that. And you can start to create a telepathic communication with all living things as long as the sun has participated in its growth and it has received water and has come from the soil. It is likely that it is carrying specific energies and qualities that will support the healing of your body. The more it is packaged, the more layers it has on it, the more it is processed and removed from the elements, the less likely, obviously, not needing me to tell you this, will support you in your healing journey. And so the communication with the earth, her elements, her plants, her herbs, her soil, her water, and her air will always give to you what is needed if you ask. She will bring it to you. She will show it to you. So simply intend to communicate with her, to walk upon her, to send her your toxins, and then ask her to bring to you into in your awareness and in your reality whatever it is that you specifically need to stay in a harmonized field within the cellular structure of your human form.
Thank you. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Anna. Troy, go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, Raphael. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
This is the first time I've asked a question of you. Some of us, will come to a choice point, or some of the group, the world will choose to stay in the density of the 3D, while most, you said the collective will rise up. But what will we be living on different versions of Earth, unaware of what's going on with the other version, or will we all be on the same planet, just not being able to see each other? Or how does that work?
Oh, it is sort of like how it works now, right? You're experiencing a particular reality, and that reality is your reality. And yet you might be aware of another reality that seems atrocious in some way, or beyond your belief or even understanding, that comes through your black box or bleeds a bit into your experience, but you're not engaged in that experience. You're not fully embodying it or experiencing it with your senses, but yet it's still sort of bleeding into your reality as something you have an awareness about. And it'll be similar to that. You will be having a reality and you will be experiencing it, and you will feel an elevation in your vibration as you continue to choose with your words, your thoughts, your actions, your frequency, and all of these things. As you are receiving and activating your light body, you will be elevating into more states of flow, synchronicity, magic, etc. And simultaneously, there will be another energy of those who will have chosen to deeply embed themselves in what we call an artificial frequency or matrix that's quite dense, in which they are clinging to an old paradigm, in which is part of their evolutionary process, not to be necessarily seen or labeled as bad. But with that, the acceleration of transformation, just like the acceleration of transformation for those who are choosing a specific frequency that you might call a 5D frequency, those who will be specifically attuning to another also will be moving very rapidly at an accelerated pace through a transformational process, but that transformational process may engage them in energies that are quite difficult in order to propel them forward, in which rather than it through a conscious awareness of the transformation, it almost happens from a state of unconsciousness. And now simultaneously, there will be those who are very conscious, who are so evolved and at such a high frequency, that will choose to dip into that vibration to assist those there. And so there will be many things unfolding and many parallel realities simultaneously occurring, just like there are right now, billions of them, just as though there are billions of you. And so it is that you will be in the reality, in the experience that you are experiencing, and yet you will have some awareness or bleed through into your experience, as some will and some will not, of other realities that are parallel occurring at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Stacy, go ahead.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello.
Hi. You have spoken about our physical evolution,
Yes.
and I feel that some of us are already undergoing that.
Yes.
I was wondering how we can best support ourselves and others if there are difficulties or complications with those physical changes.
Oh, well, the acceleration process, and it is, we've been talking for quite a period of time now about this choice point happening tomorrow. And yet, of course, it's not just tomorrow, but that is a pinnacle moment, yeah, of this choice, of this change, of this accelerated process in a catapulting forward in the evolution of your physicality, your form, your biology into a higher state where your light body is literally turning on and being activated at an accelerated rate. And we'll be doing that tomorrow as the codes come into your body. How do you assist in that is that the higher your frequency is as you are receiving those codes, as you are moving that through that transformation, the more you will be able to assimilate and integrate those frequencies. Otherwise, it might feel like plugging something into and overriding the circuit. It's too much and it burns itself out. And so with all the plasmic light, all the codes, all the information, the bombardment, the veil being thin, the vibrations coming in, the acceleration, it is very important to be grounded, to be centered, and to be holding the highest vibration as possible by moving into that flow state we speak of. And one of the greatest ways to move into that are the 3 keys to ascension. The 3 keys are love. And of course, that means removing, not necessarily removing, but being aware if you are dropping into the vibration of fear or if you are choosing love. And the other energy is gratitude. Whenever you can move into that vibration of gratitude, you're elevating your frequency. And the opposite of that is judgment, criticism, complaining, etc. And then forgiveness. When we are holding on to deep resentment in the energetic human, and that is holding on, then you are clinging and contracting. And so as you move out of that resentment, anger frequency into a state of forgiveness, and you can utilize those three keys to ascension of forgiveness, love, and gratitude, that elevates your vibration so that you are assisting your human form and body to be able to absorb the light, the codes, the information that is coming in at such a rapid pace, and to be able to do it and to synthesize it and integrate it without blowing out one circuit or nervous system being so overwhelmed and overloaded that one would collapse into a state of either dis-ease, physically, emotionally, or mentally, in order to assimilate the frequencies.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to do our last question of tonight from Isabel.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello. What is
So,
it?
yes, what is it? I recognize that there is the conceptual mind, and it's quite a hindrance actually to experiencing love in the heart. And so my question is about that, is what is the role of the conceptual mind in the new earth?
Oh, there really is no role. Wow. Because you're going to be operating from the 0 point energy, and that 0 point energy comes into fullness through the coherence in the heart center. And so the mind will really begin to take a back seat and will be more like an operating system in which you will be able to connect to specific energies or information, but you will be guided more from the heart and not from the mind, because you will not even have to go through the sequence process of understanding past or present or future. Everything will be converging in the 0 point. And in order to maintain an operational field within the 0 point, it must move and pass through the heart center. And so, in many regards, the mind in which you perceive it, which is different because there is a distinguished vibration between consciousness, the mind, the thinking mind, the ego. This is a subject in which we could delve very deep into, so, because there are many different ways of perception. But ultimately, the mind of the ego, in the way in which you have perceived it to date, of the thinking mind, in which it disengages you from the heart center, will become second to behind the back, in the back seat, rather that it has been a driving force till now, and the driving force energy will move into the heart and will be the guiding energy that will direct you, and the mind will be the servant to the heart versus the opposite.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What is it?
Oh, do you want to do one more question, Raphael? I was going to wrap it up.
Whatever you are wanting. What is it?
All right, we'll go with Leela. Will be the last question, all right? Or Lila.
Hello, it's Lila. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello. You are
Thank
like
you
a
so much.
flower.
Thank you so much. My question is, I have a 1-year-old baby, and I have a hard time quieting my fears around her being hurt. And I have a hard time connecting to my intuition and really anything. Sometimes because I get so nervous about things that are or are not happening, about her getting hurt. And yeah, any guidance around that?
She is needing you to trust her. For you are seeing her as fragile and as something that you are in charge of. But the sooner you realize you are not in charge of her at all, the better it is that you will be. She is a very, very, very old soul and extraordinarily protected. And there is nothing that is happening to her. This fear is arising from something that occurred in your own childhood that you are projecting upon her. but she is asking you and requiring that you release this strangle from her, because she wants to be free and to play and to fall down and to scrape her knee. And sometimes she will get hurt, and she will have bumps in the road. And you are there to hold her hand on that journey and to love her. She is an extraordinary being and soul. And she recognized this fear in you before entering here into physical form. And this was an agreement you had. But the sooner you can let go of this and allow her to be free, the sooner you will feel free. For the constraints that you are carrying around to keep her safe is something in which you are doing in some regard to keep you safe from being hurt, of the idea that she would be hurt, in which then you would blame yourself. And so we do not mean to be harsh in any way, but it is somewhat appears as though you're doing something positive to keep her safe, but you're actually being quite selfish in that, because she is already safe, and she is a divine being that has come from the galactic stars and has much work to do here on the planet. And she would love for you to trust in her and trust that she is safe, and continue to reiterate to her as she grows and is able to connect and communicate in this way with you, that you trust in her to make the decisions that she needs to make, and that you honor those decisions and trust that she is safe, and fall back into the arms of the divine, trusting that all is well. Her energy is protected, and we encourage you now to trust in that and in her, and to let go. You are an extraordinarily beautiful and good and wonderful mother. And even if she has a moment where she has a scrape or falls down or something happens, you are still a good mother. It is not in relationship or dependent on that, for she is here on her own unfolding journey. We send you so much love. We know this has hit your heart, and we know that this truth resonates deep within, and that you are ready now to let go. Many blessings and good day.
You.
We will attune to all of you tomorrow as you pass through this gateway, as we bring many blessings of codes and light and love to all of you. And know that wherever you are and whoever you are in alignment with your truth, divinity, and perfection, that you are lovable and that you are safe, and that all is well. Many blessings and good day. All right. Thank you all so much for joining today. Thanks for being in our community. If you want to join us tomorrow for the spring equinox, it's at 2 o'clock. It's open to everyone. It's donation based. You should be able to find a link in the video below. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Enjoy the spring. Get outside. Take good care of yourself. Drink lots of water and stay in the love. Okay? Mwah. Bye, everybody.